Hi guys, hope everyone's really well. Back with another one of my own boards here. This one's taken a wee while because of some of the detail in it. It's been quite interesting as well. It's kind of evolved, this one. I think when I first started, I already had an outline shape done, and then I was sort of going through as I was doing it. I was like, oh, what do I do it as? And at one stage I had a full-on bonzer in mind, but with the super deep channels and the super deep V and all of the fins that are going on in a bonzer, I just wasn't convinced that our local waves would be sufficient to get one going well. I know they generate a lot of speed, but I think it's like concaves and a lot of things with water. It's kind of like a fish. If you can't get water flowing through the gills, it's not going to breathe very well. So yeah, I've had the outline already. One of my mates was interested in this as well, so he kind of likes single and side bites, and so I basically decided to sort of mellow out the concaves, make it so it would work as a single with side bites, make it a little bit of a semi-bonzer, so use some of the shapes and a little bit of the concave principle, but very, very subtle version. And I was also thinking about twins. So what I actually did, I've made this board so it can be a single with side bites, what I'm calling as well a semi-bonzer. So I've actually got, I'll show you the fins later, but I've got a bonzer back fin and just two of the smaller side runners. So it's not a bonzer, and the Campbell brothers would probably think I'd bloody butchered their ideas, but it's a mellow version. So I'm kind of keen to see how that works. But basically, single and side bites, that's the normal position for those, and then these are pretty much the normal position for a twin keel. So I was quite chuffed. I just sort of did some working out, and I was like, oh, I think I can fit everything in there. Makes the tail a little bit busy. And then another one of my mates just mentioned that actually if I got some side bites and a more upright twin fin, I could almost make it as a twinser as well. So it's quite interesting. It's going to be quite a versatile board. So yeah, the board itself, this is 6'9", 21 5/8, 2 7/8. I'm guessing it's probably going to hover around the 47 litre marks roughly. Yeah, I did it's nice shape. I really like the outline. As per usual with me, the rock is not too crazy. There's a decent bit of flip in the nose on this one, so you will be able to ride some pretty decent waves with it. It's a fairly heavy glass job, so it's going to have some momentum. It's actually, so this is well, I did the bottom first, so I did the bottom with a 6 ounce glass on the bottom, wrapping onto the deck, and then I did the insert here. So this is a 6 ounce insert in the green, and then I did a full 6 ounce wrap over the top of that. So it's basically, for the deck's point of view, it's basically a 6 and a 6 really, although the rails aren't as heavy as that glass schedule would suggest, which is quite good. And then, so yeah, we got the resin tint green on the deck. We had to go white pin line, and then it's actually a white tint on the bottom. And then you see the bottom difference here, the different contrast. This is a tinted filler coat or hot coat, however you want to call it, and then this is clear. So you actually get this blend where you've got actually taped off the fin patch, and the fin patch section of the tail is tinted inside the filler coat resin or the hot coat resin, depending on what people like, the terminology you like to use, and then it's clear here. So you get this contrast between the white and the clear white. And then on the deck we got this lovely green and a nice pin line round there. The pin line took a bit of effort, so I kind of ended up almost doing it before the hot coat stage, and then having to sand a bit of it off and then having to put it on again because it's actually done in resin. So that was a bit of work, but yeah, pretty happy. Say nice diamond tail. So like the outline shape kind of does look like something from that Campbell Brothers era. Obviously nothing like as amazing as some of their work, but it's that kind of ethos and shape, and it actually looks surprisingly good with the semi-bonzer, as I'm calling it, set up in. I'll show you all the fin setups in a wee while, and then Kept it pretty simple as well, so it's basically single car. It's my usual reel pretty much, but a bit more mid-length orientated. So single all the way through here, deepest like here. I think you on a mid-length I tend to put where you expect your front foot to be would be the deepest part of the single, and that kind of comes forward on a mid-length from where you would put it on a short board. So yeah, single starting here all the way through to there, deepest about here, and there's a double going through the fins with V off the back. So it's basically single with a V double, and it transfers through, so it'll be like single, the single will still be there where the double is, and then it blends out through the tail into a bit of V. I'll come around and show you that properly in a minute. So yeah, as you can see, it's like fairly reasonably full in the rail, not too bad. Like the nose is reasonably, not massively chunky, not like fishy nose, and then the tail's just, you know, there's still a good bit of meat and volume in there. So, and with this glass job, it's going to be very sort of momentum based, and I'm hoping it'll be quite carvy and sort of, you know, almost that real mid-length feel, even in like a 6'9", you know, mid-lengths people are usually ideally, I guess, 6'8" to 7'4", 7'6". So this is kind of the shorter end, although 6'8's are fine as a mid-length. Even a 6'6 could technically be almost a mid-length. Yeah, so that's the board. I will show you through the concaves and give you a bit of a look at some of the fin options as well. So just hopping up into the engine room of the Diamond tail here, just ignore the very tip of the tail because it's got the extra, I've still got to finish sand it yet, so it's got this extra glob of resin bead on the very tip of the tail, which will basically nullify the V that's going out of the back until I sand it back. So same normal principle for me. Basically we've got single coming up here from through the nose, starting about where the rocker breaks. As I say, on a mid-length, I'm trying to make the deepest part of the single a bit further forward than you do on a short board, because you've got that longer sweet spot and you want the flattest bit to be under roughly where your front foot's going to stand on it and generate that upwards lift. So say through there basically single, and this is like halfway down the board. So as we get just a bit past halfway, I'm kind of looking to start to see the double kick in. So hopefully you can see some double faded into the single there basically. And then as I come down here and I'm entering those side bites, I want it to like definitely be double there. And as you can see on my boards, I'm fading the single out at that time. Some boards, especially seems to be the Aussie ones, they keep this V and double underneath the rail line or above or into the board basically, if you're upside down all the way through. So there you go. So you can see the double there, and I'm also starting my V as we go through the fins basically. So I'm looking at double with V, which they call spiral V, I believe, in the States. So that's going all the way through the back. So you can sort of see like a Bonza would be a massively extreme version of that concave with a big loop on the double going through and off the back of the tail straight through the middle of here all the way through with a really deep double. So that's kind of the principle. So you'll see there's still a fairly good bit of V in there. So again, coming back through, like I say, just off this tip, you'll see there's just that little bit of extra resin for me to play with just to get it really sharp. So we've got V there. That's about deepest V, and that's where the single fin is going to be located. Same with the back of the keels. That V is just starting to get aggressive behind where the keel fins would be on that back set. Obviously you can't do it perfectly for every fin option exactly where you would want the concaves for each fin option, but you get a good balance. Say V, still V there, and as we come up past the fins, we're basically into double concave there. V's blended out, and that double's now inside the single, and the single is going to carry on all the way up to where it meets the nose, and that is that. Yeah, looking forward to, I don't know if I'll even ride this one. One of my friends is after it, so whether I'll get to ride it or not, hopefully I get to ride it at some point. But again, there's like lots of fin options with this. Really happy with the finish. As you can see, we've got the white tint resin on the tail patch there, so it really blends the boxes in. And then this is this is a white resin tint up here, so you can actually still see the cloth, but it's actually got white resin tint in it. And then yeah, close up of this lovely green, you can just see the brush stroke marks in my hot coat, but that's come up really good, so happy with that. So here we go with fin options. Like I say, I'm really stoked with how this looks. Actually, I was kind of I wasn't expecting this to look so good, but it kind of really looks in tune and in fitting with the board and the tail shape. Yeah, back fin would probably be a little bit further back, but yeah, you get the idea. I think that's looks pretty right with that tail, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. Obviously, this could be any single and side bites. It doesn't have to be like these Bonza runners and the Bonza back, but I actually had these Bonza runners around, and that's where the Bonza idea sparked in my head. And then I just bought this back one. I just really wanted to try what a sort of semi-Bonza type thing might go like. You might be able to see a little bit of you'll see in the concaves in a minute, but this, you know, there's some single and double and V in there, so it's kind of like very, very super subtle version of the Bonza principle. So yeah, single with sides, or this semi-Bonza, that's the sort of single fin and single fin with side of it. And then I'll just pop these out and pop some keels in to show you what it looks like with some keels. So here's a look with the keel fins. You could go a lot more of an upright keel stroke twin if you wanted to, depending on how big you were as a rider. Even something like the MRs or something will probably work fine, but you know, that's the normal keel fin style. You've got a little bit more in off the rail, a little bit less toe, and they're quite a long way back. I always like to have my keels fairly far back, so it's quite interesting actually. I was in the shop the other day and I saw the Sunday, the Firewire Sunday, so I actually measured the keels and they were exactly the same spot as I've put these without even knowing, which is pretty cool. Because when I saw the Sunday, I was like, why are they advertising it as a twin or a single with side bites? Because to me, the side bites for the single are in like massively wrong. You can't. I was like trying to get my head around. I was like, if you put the twins where I think they should be and where they normally would be on most boards, then it doesn't really work as a side bite, because the side bite's almost in line with your rear fin, which is probably okay with those little Machado keels because they're so stumpy and short. But you know, it just gives you an idea of the difference between where a side bite should be and where a keel or twin should be. I mean, they could move within realms of these, but I'd say like this fin's maybe 10 mil further forward than some of the boards that I've seen, but I've seen side bites all the way up to the same as a longboard, even on a mid-length. And then the twins, some people might put them a bit further up for a really loose feeling, but these are where I put them, so it kind of goes to show. I mean, I was speaking to a friend the other day, and he was like, yeah, I've been riding the CI mid as a 20, and I was like, how did that ride? I was like, it must have been pretty loose. It's like, yeah, it was all over the place. I was like, yeah, because you know, you've essentially got your twins up here where side bites should be. So it's like, don't expect them to grip because just miles forward. So yeah, that just goes to show. So it's kind of like, I do like to put boards. Ideally, you design a board for the style of fin system you're going to use. So at 20, the whole shape would ideally be different, or at least you put them where they're supposed to be. I'm always like, I don't know, I've probably got a bit of a snob about it now. Well, that's not a snob, but I'm probably more particular about it now. I know a little bit more about fin positions, and people are always like, yeah, I've been riding my like my performance board with keel fins, and then I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's like, oh, it's pretty slippery. It's like, yeah, funny that. So anyway, that's my rant about that. So yeah, I reckon those look pretty good as well. And again, that probably works with the sort of pulled in tail. There's kind of no reason why that shouldn't work. And then my other mate was saying yesterday, he said, oh yeah, you could even if you put two side bites in here that were far back and not too big a fin, and then you put like more of an upright 20, you'd basically have a twinser as well, which is kind of cool. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, well done that, man. Yeah, sweet. All right, cheers guys. So yeah, that's one of the last ones of my boards. I've got the Seaside and Beyond coming up. Just picked that up today. So yeah, I'll do a bit of a run over the shape and everything on that before I actually do like a ride review, because I'd actually like to ride that quite a while and then do a decent review on it. So, but I'll go over the shape though, because mine's 610, so it's one of the chunkier ones. So it'd be quite interesting for you to see the difference. And also I'll pull my own 610 fish that I've made. It's just sort of interesting to see, like, that's fairly close, but there's always those subtle differences between what you do and someone else does. And I didn't really try to copy the Seaside and Beyond anyway, but, like, there's always little differences of even between each shaper that you notice, the little nuances of how they do certain details, and it's quite cool. Really, I quite liked it. So yeah, cheers for watching, guys. Catch you soon.